Welcome everyone to another localized event. My name is Michelle. I'm the Events and Community Manager at Localized. And if you are new to our community, this is a global platform where we connect students and recent graduates from emerging markets, so especially the regions of Latin America, Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Southeast Asia. But any student and any recent graduate from all over the world is welcome to our community. And so we connect you guys to job opportunities and career resources. And part of those career resources to guide you to select whatever career path you want to take on is our amazing pool of experts who are here especially to guide you and to answer any questions you might have about whatever career you're seeking to achieve. So today, as you might know, we're gonna be talking about project management. So we're gonna be talking about skills, about what is a career in project management looks like, what type of opportunities might be out there, especially with the Project Management Institute, but also in other like organizations or in your own student activities. So we're gonna be talking all about that. We're gonna be, our expert Lekan is gonna be guiding us through this exciting topic. And this is not his first time with us. I don't know if any of you have been in any of his events before, but this is your third event, if I'm not wrong. So the first time he was part of our Global Career Fair. And then we have him talking about more about his journey and about how to seek and achieve to have a global career. So I'm gonna paste the recording to that session in the chat if you're interested after this event. But yeah, so if you haven't been here before, I'm just gonna do a very quick introduction about you. So Lekan is a go-to-market and business development specialist for multiple fintech startups in the EMEA space. He's also endorsed by the United Kingdom as an exceptional talent in the global digital technology space. And it's also, I'm not sure if third year or already 4-year member of the PMI Nextgen Insights team. I think it might be already like your 4th year, right? Or starting your 4th year, yeah. So we're gonna be talking about what PMI is, if you have any questions about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to you, Lekan. And if anyone has any questions at any time, you can send them in the chat, or you can also send them in the Q&A function that is like in the bottom part of your Zoom screen. We're gonna take all of those questions at the end of the session. So as soon as you think of the question, just send that. And okay, so now the stage is yours, Lekan, so you can go and share your screen.
Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for joining. And so my name is Lekan, pronounced L-A-Y-C-O-N, Lekan. I'm from Nigeria. I currently live in the United Kingdom. I'm currently part of the Global Nextgen Insights for the Project Management Institute, the global body. And I'm also a program manager at Founder Vine. I'm proud to now, I've held multiple positions. I mean, one of the positions, I've held about 6-7 positions in the last 7 years, and probably 15 jobs. Some concurrently happen at the same time. And one of the things I've been lucky to have or to do by myself is build a project management career. Like, I think one of the things that if anyone that is interested in being a project manager, which I assume most of you guys are interested in being, you know that it's not the easiest thing to actually start a career in project management. It's not the easiest thing. You have to, there's no proper structured guide as to, how do I launch a project management career? So what I'm going to be doing in this session is sharing my experience, my guide in the last 6 years, which I think would be helpful to a lot of people and would also help you craft your own plan and strategy on how to build a project management career, as well as identifying the skills that are important for you. You should be able to see my screen now. So what are the things that I'm hoping that we are able to learn from this? The first thing is a guide to how to launch a career in project management. About PM certifications. Like, should you get them? Should you not get them? What's the drama around certifications? And what's the role of volunteering in your PM journey? And how different is project management across industries? What are the skills that are essential for you in your PM career? And program and project management, are they one and the same, or are they different? And most importantly, what are the core lessons to be extracted in my 6-year journey in trying to build a project management career? I want to ask a question to the house. One question. If you are currently in a project or program management role at the moment, can you signify by raising up your hands? They'll just do the hand thing like this. That if you are, yeah. Is anybody raising up their hands? I don't think I can see. Anybody? Are you currently in a program or project management role at the moment? Just signify by raising up your hand. No one?
Okay. Or you can also type in the chat if you are currently in a program or project management role. Type it in the chat.
We're looking to get into. Okay, that's good. If you, I mean, obviously everyone here is looking to get into project management. So yeah, I think I'm speaking to everybody at this time. I mean, this is a perfect audience. So one thing I always say is whether we're 100 or we're 50 or we're 10, the most important thing is if an information will change your life. Sometimes it's just one person that will get the gist. Sometimes it's everybody that will get the gist. So let me start. So what's the first step? What's the first thing I did? What's the first thing you should do if you're trying to build a career in project management? The first thing is get your project management institute membership. I mean, there's Prince 2, there are a number of project management institutes out there. The biggest, widest, most popularly known project management community in the entire world is the Project Management Institute. So the first thing that you should do before you start anything in your career is get your PMI membership. Why? It's your gate pass to your global and local community. How do you connect to the project management community globally and locally? It's the PMI membership. You get discounts for the exam. So when you eventually want to write a certification, you get discounts up to 40% discounts on. I mean, I know how expensive these certifications can be. You also have access to webinars, conferences, and seminars, most times free, sometimes heavily discounted, especially if you're a student. And also, you get to have enough knowledge as to what it is that you want to do. So, I mean, it's understandable that if you're in your early 20s, your late teen ages and your early 30s, it's okay to not know exactly what you want to do in terms of, say, it's project management, right? By being a member, you are exposed to all the necessary information that you need about project management. So, and finally, you have access to global, regional, local volunteering opportunities. So what I did here was just share a few screenshots like, oh, this is my membership card. Because one thing I like to do is when I'm talking to people about how to do certain things in their career, when you see that someone has done it, like you can see the career path, like this guy has done it. I mean, he's a member. These are the benefits. I mean, it makes it possible for you to say that, yeah, I can do this myself also. It's possible for me also. So be a member first. You have to renew it every year. As a student, it's going to be cheaper. As a young professional, you're probably paying, say $100, $120 a year. As a student, it's probably half the price. So that's the first thing you should do. So this is everything I'm saying right there is everything I did myself to lead me to where I am. So if my journey is one that makes sense to you and one you like to adopt to build a career, fine. If it's not, take the benefits and the information you can from it and adopt it into your own strategy. So yeah, get to be a member. The second, join the community. So when you join the community, remember at this point, you've not written any certification, you've not applied for any job, you've just become a member, now you've joined the community. One of the things I did was I self-funded myself to travel to Tanzania to attend the PMI African Conference in 2019. I mean, it was pretty expensive, but at that point I was like, what should I then do with my life? I was done with my undergraduate studies. For context, I studied political science, philosophy, and economics. So when you study 3 different courses like that all at once, you are torn in between, like, what should I do in my life? Should I do an HR certification? Should I do a CFA or maybe an accounting certification? What certification can I do? And in my mind, I was like, I'm a kind of person that survives and dwells in multi-diverse environment. So I'm like, okay, I pick project management, and the reason why is project management can be adopted in any industry. So fashion, food, health tech, sport, there is a project manager, and the standards in which project management is can be adopted across board, right? So I self-funded myself to a trip to Tanzania. What I saw blew my mind. I saw project management professionals from all walks of life. I'm a minister in Kenya running an energy project, one of the country manager for Ericsson Europe. I met someone from China, someone from Europe, different individuals. And there was, it broke the myth or the thing in my head where you always think that project management professionals are all construction guys, or they are all in the building space, or they are all, so when I saw them, I was like, I saw people from startups, enterprise, tech companies, construction companies. It made absolute sense, like complete sense. So what that does for you when you join the community is, you know how the community works and how it fits into your style, right? Then also you validate your true access to the local, regional, and global community, right? Once you have access to that community, then you can begin to build a career, to build a life, to build something that makes sense to start. So again, first step, get your membership. Second step, join the community, right? When you join the community, then the next thing you can do is get a certification. Once you join the community, you've confirmed that the community is yours, and it makes sense that the people that are in the community are people that you like to be, right? The next thing is get your certification. For me, I got the PMP certification, which is a project management professional certification. And so I skipped the CAPM, which is a certified associate project management professional, because I had a fair bit of experience prior to now. And yeah, I'm going to answer the question around how to join a local community, how to find a local community to join for PMI. So I'll get there. So get your certification. Now, the certification is your gate pass to getting an actual PM job in the real world. Even though the certification would not get you the job, emphasis, it's your gate pass, it's your entrance into the world. And so as you get your certification, there are personal development units that you have to get to keep your certification. So the project manager certification is not like an average certification. Every 3 years, you have to renew it. And when you renew it, before you can renew it, you have to have acquired up to 60 personal development units. And I think I like that because there are a number of persons. Once you get your your bachelor's degree certificate, you have it for life, right? But this is not a certificate you have for life. You have to work your way to keeping it every 3 years. So that way, you're staying in trend. You understand what's happening in the economy. You can actually then consistently stay in touch with the project management principles and standards. And most importantly, announce your PM journey on social media platforms, right? So when you acquire certifications, when you become a member, when you get your first volunteer role, announce them on LinkedIn and localize on any social media platform. Because your employer is on LinkedIn, I can tell you not. Your employer is on this social media platform. Your employer is localized. Because again, one thing I've learned over the years is visibility is growth. The more visible you are to the people that would change your life in the future, the more likely they are to find you in that sense. So announce your growth. And most importantly, on your current job, or in your current job, it's important that you find every project management opportunity in your current role. So I don't care if you're a customer service official, if you're a banker, if you're a designer, if you're anything, project management principles can be applied into every single role. Remember, the multifaceted or the multidiversity nature of project management allows you to adopt project management principles across board. The first role I had once I was on my PM certification was a project coordinator. Was a project coordinator role for the corporate social responsibility program at the bank, right? The bank literally had a PMO office, but they wouldn't accept me because I wasn't too experienced. But I had the opportunity to coordinate a CSR opportunity, and that helped. I also joined the bank's employee volunteering program. Now, what this is trying to tell you is your certification is a gate pass. but the things you do day in, day out, your experiences that you gather from volunteering from within your organization are the things that scale up and validate and accrete into you having an actual PM experience. Then what's the next thing? Volunteering. Volunteering with the Project Management Institute is your first true PM job. I can tell you for a fact, take it to the bank, take it to CBN, take it to the Federal Reserve, take it to anywhere in the world. Volunteering with the PMI Institute or any project management role is your first true job. With the Project Management Institute, I've volunteered for over 7 different positions in the last 3 years, from being a project analyst for JA Europe, one of the largest entrepreneurship events in the world, to being a judge for a challenge, Make Reality Challenge that's organized globally, to being a volunteer manager for the African Leadership Academy, back to back, locally, globally, and regionally. Just keep volunteering because that's the place where you learn the most practical PMI skills globally, right? I mean, where else can you learn how to be a proper project management in the real life, if not the actual institution that manages it itself, right? Why volunteering for an organization like PMI? You have access to work with volunteers across 100 countries on all the continents of the world. You build your own initiatives, your own workshops, and that prepares you for your PM career. And another beautiful thing, 80% of the conferences and seminars around the world, you can access them for free because one, you're a certified member, two, you have a certification. Once you have those two things, you're golden anywhere in the world. I mean, when I was in Nigeria, I joined the PMI local chapter in Nigeria. I mean, it wasn't as, because I mean, of course, as an African country, it wasn't as developed as we wanted it to be, but it was pretty good. We had a good number of events, seminars. But when I got to the UK, I joined the UK PMI chapter instantly because I was a member and I had my PM certificate. And now I'm part of the community, even though I've made a good number of strides in my project management career. But the conferences and seminars anywhere in the world, you can attend them because of your access, because of your volunteering opportunities. And also, what volunteering helps you to do is to help you properly discover what really matters to your project management. One thing I know for a fact is you have to be very sure that you want to have a career in project management because it's one of the most fragmented, one of the most diverse, one of the most broken apart industry you can ever find because it's everywhere and it's in one place. Like every single industry in the entire universe can adopt project management. You can be a project manager in any industry. So the more diverse something is, the more confusing it is for you. So if you're not very sure as to why you want to do it and if you want to do it, trust me, you'll be very confused. And one thing that gives you insight and clarity as to whether you want to do it is your experiences while you're volunteering. So you can volunteer for multiple roles, and on the second, third, you're like, nah, this is not for me. That's what volunteering does for you. So make Project Management Institute your home. And again, as I mentioned, as a member and a certified member, as a certified PMP holder or CAPM holder, you're golden. I'm telling you, there's a specific VRMS platform for volunteer opportunities. There are hundreds and hundreds of open positions there. Just jump on it and apply, right? Next thing you want to do is time to get an early stage PM job. So we started from being a member to get the certification to volunteering. Now it's time to get an early stage PM job. Search for accidental PM or junior associate roles. An accidental project management role is one that you didn't, I mean, the role that they gave you was probably a business development manager role, but eventually you evolved into a project manager sales role, kind of a role that requires you to adopt project management principles. Look for junior and associate role. My first proper PM career role started 2 years after I got my certification. So I was volunteering, joining the community for about 2 years before I actually got an associate role where they were like, we like your volunteering experience. We think this makes sense. And I got my first program associate role with an edutech and HR tech startup, which was fantastic. I mean, I launched 3 boot camps, created a good number of processes, documentation, and created some project management structures and standards, which was really amazing. And all the experiences I gathered volunteering with the PMI, which I'm still currently doing, came in really, really handy. The second role I got was a business development lead at a product delivery and project management focused startup called Assuredly. So in this role, I got to work also as a technical project manager because as the firm Assuredly helps organizations to launch their products, their startups, and in adherence to the best product delivery practice ever. And honestly, assuredly, the company proved to be one of the best organizations that adopted project management principles to the letter. So imagine adopting project management principles at the startup level, not enterprise level, not NGO level. That's one of the best ways you can learn project management. You can adopt it. My third role was as a contract business analyst at Deloitte. And what are the things I learned from a holistic PM job? Project management as a startup is chaotic, but it's the best place to learn practical real PM principles. I mean, if you can organize a bunch of 9 employees in a startup that is at pre-seed, that is moving at the speed of, say, at light speed to launch stuff, and you are the person that launching the process, making sure everything is organized. Trust me, when you join an enterprise or an NGO, you'll be the boss. Like, you know really what you're doing. You can easily wing it. And also be ready to wear multiple hats. You could start as a sales role, or obviously you work and assist in the PM and operations department role because you know the experiences you're looking for, right? And lastly, especially in this section of early stage PM roles, projectize every role that you get. Adopt. So the beautiful thing about PM principles is it can be adopted on every single job. When you intentionally adopt PM principles on your job, while preparing yourself, you get it sorted. And I'm not saying this out of the blue. These are the things I did like in the last 3 years. I mean, these are the reasons why I put the links there. So as at Venture for Africa, I was a program manager and a business development lead. I was doing both at the same time. As a business development and partnership lead at Assuredly, I was also a technical project manager, managing project too. As a contract staff and business analyst for Deloitte, I mean, I had the opportunity to build processes around reviewing 3,000 business proposals to disburse 15.7 million pounds in funds for businesses across Africa. And these were not like actual roles. They were not full-time roles, they were contract roles. And because of my membership, my certification, my volunteering opportunities, I was able to get some of these roles, right? So the next thing that you need to do also, which is the 6th step, is build your own project, right? Test your project management skills that you've acquired from step 1 to step 6 to test your skills and your passions, and that of others also, right? Currently now I have 5 projects running. I'm building 3 startups, a tech community, and an NGO. For all of this project, I was a technical project manager and project coordinator for all of them. I built my team, I gathered my team. One of the things you will learn is the world of your future company would not employ you unless they know that your skills has been tested and trusted, right? So now I'm building my own project. Now I've volunteered. Now I have a district experience. Now I've been a member. Now I've been a community. Note, all of these processes from beginning to the end, to this very moment, I've been doing it all by myself. I mean, I've not had the opportunity to ask somebody like myself, say, oh, do this and do that and do that. This is a guide. As I mentioned, the project management space is a largely fragmented space where lots of things happen at the same time. So you have to really carve out your own path yourself. But what I am doing with this presentation and this talk now is saying, okay, as much as possible, anyone I can help with, okay, this is how I did mine. And obviously, I mean, where I am currently is really fantastic. I'm doing a dream role at the moment, even though it took 6 years. Why doing that, building that, and doing something else at the same time? So, building your own project at this stage, at the 6th stage, is the perfect way to test your PM skills, right? What other way can you use to validate that you are skilled if you can't use your project management skills to build your own project? So you have a problem today, and you're like, let me build something, and by yourself. You create the process, create the structure, manage the team, manage the leadership processes, documentation, project planning to execution. You see it from end to end. You don't do it just once, you do it twice, 3rd time, the 4th time, the 5th time. When you're about to get a proper job, I mean, you're going in pretty confident, like I've done this before for myself, early stage, volunteering, and I have a certification. What else do you want? What else? What else do you want? So build your own project. Start building your own project. Most of these projects I'm building, they are 80% yet to life. So build your project. Then finally, you get your first actual project or program management role, right? Now you're ready. So I got my first actual PM role 5 years after my membership with PMI. Now I'm a program manager at Founder Vine, managing United Kingdom and Lloyd's programs for Because what we do there, we're currently like the Apple for social impact, serving underrepresented startups and founders to build their enterprises. We have over 5,000 founders in our community with more than 20 accelerators that we've launched in the last 6 years. And now I'm here. Literally no guide from anyone. I just decided I want to do project management and I'm going to do it. Nothing can stop me, absolutely nothing. And 6 steps, 6 years, which is weird, 6 years, 6 steps down the line, I'm currently where I am. So what did I learn? One thing that I learned strongly is your location can determine the limits of delaying your PM career. If you're in a developing country, obviously developing country is not project management focused. It's more crude focused, agricultural focused, raw material focused. The state at which an industry or an economy needs project management or a PMO office is when they're like, oh, we've done some things. Now let's get to the point where we are organizing ourselves. And that's why startups are not the best, are not the ones to have a PMO office, because what are you project managing if you don't even know what the hell we're doing in this company? So sometimes your location can determine a lot. If you're in a developed country, you have the tendency of moving faster in building a PM career. If you're in a developing country, you have a tendency of going slower. So the reason why it took me 5 years to get to where I am currently is because in my country, Nigeria, then you had to start from scratch. You had to carve out your own niche, your own project management career, and then go further. Next thing, the project management standards are the same anywhere, everywhere, but they are different in terms of adoption, right? At the enterprise level, project management is different. At an NGO level, like I did for PMI, project management principles and project management adoptions are different. At the startup level, as I showed you, it's chaotic, it's different. Probably the best kind of project management experience you need at the early stage, but pretty much different. But you have to have experience in at least two of these industries. I have in an enterprise level at GT Bank, at NGO and PMI, and of course, multiple startup roles. And again, what are the most important PM skills that you need to have? I'm going to be factual with them. I'm going to tell you have integrity, have communication skills, have leadership skills. Based on my experience, you need to have the ability, you need to grow and develop the ability to create and document every single project process. Communication process, stakeholder process, finance management process, risk process, the ability to create and document them. So whether you're using Asana or Jira or Notion or Confluence, or Google Docs, simply, the ability to document. Your writing skills must be top notch. You have to develop that. You have to build that. You have to be good at that. You have to develop that. Again, perfect your communication style. It's important to know that communication is 90% productivity and 100% project success. If you cannot communicate your project goals, your project mission, your project growth, your project monitoring, the project stages, you might as well just hang your boots and like, this project has failed. Because if you can't easily communicate the goals to your subordinates or to your colleagues or to your friends, what are you doing on the project? How do we know that you're doing something? Again, I mentioned visibility is growth. And what guarantees or what shows of visibility is the ability to communicate where you are. If you can communicate what you are, where you are to a group of people, then they can see you. Then they can know what you're doing. Then they can know what to bring forward to you. That brings a very nice quote to my head. So visibility is growth, but communication is visibility. That's nice. So communication is visibility, visibility is growth. So communication is visibility, visibility is growth. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, and again, know and understand your team management, your leadership, and your followership style. Again, leadership and followership style, those are two different things. So you would not always be a leader. I mean, took me 5 years before I got a real leadership program management role. What that means is I had to find out what my followership style is. How am I as a program associate? How best do I work under a manager? What is my best management style? How would I like a leader to manage me? Know your leadership style, know your followership style, grow with it, understand it, and also know how you want to build your team. You shouldn't know how you want to build a team when you build the team. It's before you build the team. That's how you should know. That's when you should know, right? And also another thing, stick to your PMI community at all costs. 90% of your growth will come from the community. 90% of your growth in project management will be guaranteed by the community, not your certificate, right? Again, the certificate is just a gate pass. The community is where 90% of the growth will come from. 90% of the growth, that's where it will come from. That's where your job will come from. That's where your network will come from. That's where your exposure would come from. The community at all costs. In fact, prioritize being a member of PMI before being a PMP certificate holder or a CAPM holder. In fact, do not get a certificate until you're guaranteed that you settle into the community and you like the community. Trust me, if you're not taking anything from here, join the community, be in the community, absorb the community, expand your reach across board, beyond your local community, your regional community, your global community, connect to it. And lastly, never, ever turn down a volunteering opportunity. And always look for one. Never, ever turn down a volunteering opportunity. Never, never. A volunteering opportunity, they are the building blocks to building a proper career in project management. I can tell you for a fact, whether it's an enterprise, at an NGO, in a department that is not your department in your current company, whether it's with the NGO that just started in your backyard, and they're looking to help 20 or 40 people, or a food NGO, volunteer as much as possible. Then it's your place to then say, okay, I now want to build project management processes here based on what I want to do. So, so thank you for listening. What will be your action steps then? Number one, be sure that this is your path. Be very, very sure. Again, it's a very fragmented space. Lots of people are in the space. We have a lot of intentional project managers, a lot of accidental project managers. Everybody claims to be a project manager, right? The thing is, not everybody is a project manager in the sense of project management. I mean, we all project manage our life. When you want to cook, it's project management. When you want to eat, it's project management. That's low-level project management. If you want to do a high-level project management with certification and membership and getting a job, you have to be sure that you want to do it. Project management is not sales. Project management is not design. Project management is not community management. Project management is not any of those things, but it can be adopted into those things, right? Yeah, you might be wanting project management, program management, of course. Program management is like a summation or accretion or addition of multiple programs that make multiple projects that make up a program. Then a program, multiple programs make up portfolios. So a project sums up into a program sums up into a portfolio. So that's the route. So if I say portfolio management, program management, project management, they are all the same thing, cascading into each other. So another action step, join the PMI community from day one. I keep mentioning it. Join the community from day one. Strategically connect with project leaders locally, regionally, globally. That's where localized comes in. Honestly, what we're doing right now would not be possible without localized. I wouldn't have known any of you without localized. You wouldn't have met without localized. LinkedIn, you can't, I mean, there are lots of people in the community, in the project community, that you wouldn't know at all, except you are localized or LinkedIn. Stay open to every opportunity, paid or unpaid. The goal is to build your career. If you're not sure of your path, that's when you have a problem saying it's unpaid. Like, so you're not going to pay me for this? If you are sure of what you want to do, if it's unpaid, you're fine. You just know that you want to do this for 6 months or 1 year or forever, depending on how well you can do it. Another thing, announce your wins as you grow on professional networks. Don't be shy. I mean, again, visibility is growth. Communication is visibility, visibility is growth. If you don't communicate what you're doing, you can be seen. If you're not seen, opportunities will not come your way. Growth opportunities will not come your way. So announce your wins as you grow on localized or LinkedIn or network rooms. Your future employer is watching you. They're not saying anything. They're not commenting on your post. They're not probably liking your post, but they are seeing you. They're monitoring your growth. They're seeing your growth. That role that you want to get in project management, they're seeing it. They're seeing it, right? Then lastly, start building your resume from day one. The moment you decide to join the community, start building a resume from that point. From that point forward, continually, just keep building it, and then you get your role. I mean, that's it. 6 steps, that's the guide. So what I've been able to do throughout the presentation is talk about the skills, the things that you need to do to build a proper project management career. And hopefully, we're going to be sharing this link, this presentation link to everyone. So I'll take time to check it out and reach out to me on LinkedIn or localized, any platform. definitely happy to help. Definitely happy to help. Yeah, so that's it. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you so much. We do have some questions already. This was really, really insightful. And actually Nora was sharing on the Q&A. Well, she noted like the phrase you mentioned, visibility is communication. Noted, and thank you. So I just wanted to share that. And we do have some questions. I'm gonna start taking them and reading them for you. If you guys have any more questions, you have some minutes to think about them, send them on the chat or in the Q&A function while we start taking the questions that already came up. Would you be so kind, Lekan, to take down the slides just so
Absolutely.
people can actually see you in the recording?
Oh yeah, stop share. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Okay, so let's see. There's one question in the chat. Okay, so give me just a second. Okay, so the first question was from Jackie, and they were asking, how do I find a local community to join for project management? I guess it can be from PMI, for example.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I mean, once you visit PMI.org, every single, at least every single country has a PMI chapter. So once you go there, you can easily apply. But one thing I always advise is start global in terms of the community. Start joining the global community before you join the local community. Don't start local before global. For project management, don't start local before global. Join the global community, become a global member. It's easy to then break it down to local because you understand what you're looking for. You're looking for exposure. Your exposure, the proper full exposure that you want is not at the local level, it's at the global level. My volunteering positions, I started them at the global level. Then I was saying at the global level, oh, let's do something in Africa. Then I was saying in that level, oh, let's do something in Nigeria. Then I would say, oh, let's do something in our community. So start at the global level, but that doesn't mean you're disconnected from the local community, right? So because once you become a global member, you have the opportunity to becoming a local chapter member. But when you're targeting conferences, opportunities, webinars, volunteering, start at the global level. Don't start at the local level because once you start at the local level, it's almost hard in a way to go global. Because in that sense, when you start local, how do you then use the experiences you have in Nigeria to help, say, in the US or in the UK? But if you start global, a global experience can be broken down to impact local experiences. So global before local, not local before global. So yeah.
That's amazing. I never thought about it that way, but that's a good advice. There's another related question. We can direct them to the PMI side, but if, in case you have any insights or if you remember for your own experience when you first joined. So it comes from Terrence, and they're asking, what are the prerequisites for joining the PMI body? I guess as a volunteer.
Okay, as a volunteer, so let me take it in two ways. To joining as a member, honestly, nothing. You just need to want to be a project manager, honestly. To be a member, yeah, of course, there's a financial part of things, which obviously is even cheaper. As a student, you're getting like a 70% discount on it's about £160 for a young professional, $60 for a young professional, and probably half of that or a quarter of that for students. To become a certified member, okay, that's a bit different. You need to have like a few experiences, one or two. That's when you can bring experience where we say everybody's a project manager. Oh, I cooked, I'm a project manager. Oh, I raised a kid, I'm a project manager. You can leverage experiences like that to apply. But I can tell you for a fact that it's pretty much very simple, straightforward. The only challenge you might have is the financing, which obviously for students, it's way cheaper, so you can afford that. And in fact, there are even scholarships you can also get on it. Yeah, so it's pretty much is a prerequisite, straightforward. Have the preliminary experiences, And again, be very, very sure you're ready to go all in. If you're not sure, it's okay. Just join the community, monitor it, watch it, see how people behave, then can then go all in. I hope that answers the question.
Amazing. Thank you so much. There's another related question to joining like chapters. So it comes from it's in the chat. So Genesis, yeah, she was sharing they're joining they recently joined the South Florida, if I'm not wrong, chapter. And so they're a member already. They joined the local chapter and they're working on obtaining the certification. So the question is if you can provide some tips to prepare to pass the test.
That's a very good question. I mean, it's already too late for me to ask you, oh, are you sure you want to write the certification? Are you sure? I mean, if it's a requirement for your job, that's good. That's good. I mean, that way you can use that as a stepping stone. But if it's not a requirement for your job, if you are open that the certification will get you a job and will get you a job faster, you're mistaken. Honestly, you are absolutely mistaken. Yes, it's a gate pass. It's the entrance to getting to the opportunities that are there. Like when you're applying for a job and you're like, oh, I'm PMP certified, they're like, okay, let's check it out. Then the next thing they check is your experience. So you have certifications, but you have no experience. Who does that help? No one. But anyways, we're far from that. How do you then prepare and pass the test? How did I do mine? The first thing I did is honestly, you have to join a community, a class. I mean, by community, I mean there's this 3-month, 2-month class you have to do, or sessions you have to do on project management to learn the principles, especially within your context. And there are a number of authorized providers or companies or organizations that will put you through like a 2-month, 3-month session where you learn the actual theoretical and practical sessions of project management. So I would advise that you do that first, even before you apply for exams, or maybe when you've applied for exams, which is like maybe 3 months in advance. Then when you've done that, 80% of what you need to know, you will be taught in those sessions. Then the next thing you have to do is the past questions, do as much questions as you can, And there are lots of project management PMP questions out there. Do them. But the first important thing is join the 2-month, 3-month sessions. Let them teach you everything, because when you have actual project managers or trained project management professionals train you on how to pass these exams, that helps. Then when you read your past questions, you're golden. But I'm going to take you back to my major point. Are you sure you want to do certification now? Have you exhausted the community options? Have you really leveraged your local chapter, the global chapter? Have you volunteered? Do you have something on your belt? Because ideally, the way you should work is you get your certification after your experience. So, because after you've had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years working in the project management space, you get a certification that certifies that you are a project manager. You don't get do you get your BSc degree before you start your university degree? No, you get it after the 4 years. So the reason why you should get a certification is certifying that your experiences are proving you to be a project management professional. So why are you putting the cart before the horse? You have to be experienced before you're certified. You can't be certified before you're experienced. So explore your community, explore the local chapter, get the experiences you need, then certify yourself. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you for that. And it also helps. They're saying thank you. It's great that you already joined the local chapter, but this answer, it also helps like many students who also will be watching the recording, who might not have been, because you already are some type of advanced in the sense that you already joined a chapter, you're looking for a certification, but like many students who are not getting that point, it's amazing how you invite them to like basically exploit every resource that's out there with PMI or other networks. So that advice goes for everyone. There's another question coming from Nora in the Q&A. So they're sharing that they're studying a business management course, well, major. So they will love to know what is the best first step to take for engaging in a PM major. If there's any type of major related to that, or if it will be more like directing them to exploiting the resources that there are in PMI instead of like actually, like getting a major in university, just focus on that.
Yeah, I think that you've answered that partly. So, as a business management student, I think you are one of the few persons that are actually properly positioned to be a project manager, to explore and experience being a project manager. The position I'll take for the PM major is the same I took for the PM certification, right? Experience before certification. The moment where you're trying to say you want to get a major in PM, why do you want to do that? I mean, do you want to use the certification to get the job, or you want to use the job to get a certification? So I mean, in the last 2-3 years too, I had to make a decision in my life. I'm like, okay, Lekan, after how many years you've written your PMP certifications, you've not gotten the job. Should I do a master's in project management? I'm like, what's the difference? So if I have a PMP and I'm going to do a master's, then I'm going to go back to the streets and say, oh, give me a job because I have a certification. No. Nowadays, post-COVID realization, I've come to realize that experience gets you the job. Certification doesn't. Degrees doesn't. They certify that you are who you are, but they don't get you the job. So the first step to engaging in PM major, volunteer. Join your National Political Science Institute. Join your National Business Management Association in your university. Become the financial secretary. Become the president. Join an association. Join a community. Become a member. Be a student member. Attend a lot of events, webinars. Then when you are sure that that's what you want to do, you have some experience under your belt. Later in the future, maybe if your job requires it, then when you're about to take your first proper job, then get a PM major, then get a certification. Again, experience before certification. Certification of majors validate experience. That's the way it works. So that's my advice to you. That's my advice to you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. There was also another question that I went ahead and answer in a written form, but just sharing for everyone who's going to be watching the recording. So Nora did a follow-up question saying that she won a competition in a university with a project idea. And basically she was like trying to implement this in the real market, but it's looking for like some guidance, some organizations that can help her like implement this idea basically. So I went ahead and invite her to look out if there's any like, again, chapter in their country or even city to look up for guidance, to look for community. But I don't know if there's any other resource you might want to add apart from that.
So you want to come with competition, question for the idea. That's a very good question. So ideally, in the current work now, when you have a project idea like this, the first thing first you should do, right? Is flesh out the idea, document it as much as possible. So one thing you realize is when the startup launches, when you're about to launch a startup or a project or an idea, the first thing you're expected to do is to prepare a product requirement documentation. What that does for you is it lists out every single possibility that will be required, of things that will be required to build in the project. So the functional requirements, the summary of the requirements, the risk resources, the dependencies, the user stories. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with user stories now. Document it first. You might not be able to do this yourself, right? But you can have a friend or reach out to an organization. I mean, one of the communities I set up is called the From Scratch community. And what we do, what the startup does is, with my team, is we enable aspiring founders or young founders to build the minimum MVP needed to validate their product. So a website, a social media engagement platform, the PRD documentation, sometimes up to 20, 25 pages, and also a wait list, back end, front end. All of this at the lowest cost possible. So with probably just £200 or £300 or £150, you can have all of this set up, because once you then start seeing your idea all documented and fleshed out, you're like, I like this idea. You're like, no, I'm not doing this. It's taking a different turn. But when you build a website and you're seeing that the attention that the community is giving to it, that the people are giving to it, your target audience are giving to it is not enough, then you go back to the drawing board. So the first thing I would like you to do, I want you to do, is flesh it out, document as much as possible. The risk, the team, the requirement, the user story. If you can't do it yourself, get an organization, a friend that is a product manager or an asset project manager to get it done for you. Then small, little by that, you can build up something. Honestly, you don't need to say buy a domain or wait to raise a particular amount of fund or what's that thing, or do a pitch deck and be dramatic about it. No, the simple things are the things you need to do first. A PRD, get a domain, build a wait list, then build a website using Wix or something. All those things help you validate your ideas, know that you're going in the right direction. Then do a customer survey. Currently, I'm trying to do a survey of over 3,000 people to test an idea before I devote a single dime to building it. Those are the things you need to do first. And all those things are entrenched and enraptured or built within project management principles. I think that's the best advice I can give at this point, especially for your idea. And you can also reach out to me also. I can definitely give you some pointers, direct some persons, can help you build a PRD, a website. And in fact, I could easily train you to just get it done yourself and you'll be happy. I mean, if you do it yourself, remember, one of the 5th steps is build your personal project. So
thank you. Thank you so much for that. That was like a mini super summarized lesson on entrepreneurship even. So thank you so much for that. I was just sharing to like complement this amazing answer. I was sharing for you, Nora, on the chat, and for everyone interested. We did a series of entrepreneurship last year with, I think she's an expert from Kenya, but she's an entrepreneur with like 3 companies. The first of these videos were about how to start when you want to be an entrepreneur. So basically how to develop your idea. So it's a 3-part video. You can check that in the chat. And yeah, in case you want to like develop that, and in case you want to contact Lekan, he kindly offered, you can actually click on, I mean, he shared before in the slides, but you can actually click on his profile here on Localize. And if you click on his profile and then click on send message, he will be receiving an email, and you can follow up the conversation there. So I can't believe this went out so fast. We are finalizing the session, but I want to thank you again, Lekan, for being with us. Again, we're super appreciative of your time and your knowledge. And thank you for sharing your LinkedIn. And thank you for everyone for joining. We had people today from Nigeria to South Africa, Saudi, India, Kurdistan. It's amazing to see New York, South Florida, Philippines. Thank you for everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone, and I hope to see you in another Localize event. Don't forget to register for more events on the event section in Localize and apply to jobs if you're looking for a job. So thank you again, Lekan, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.